What's up YouTube? This is the Wisco Boater channel. My name is Chad. Today I'm going to start working on engine wiring for this 40 horsepower Evinrude Big Twin. I'm not going to video the entire rewiring process. It's tedious work, and the detail that I could show isn't really going to help anybody, but I will show you a few things along the way, what I find. This engine hasn't run for quite some time. I can just tell that by the condition of the wires. There's a lot of insulation that's missing. There is electrical tape where there shouldn't be electrical tape. And yeah, it's kind of a mess. But I'll get the wiring straightened out, and we'll get the wiring harness pulled off the engine, which as of this intro, it's already off, but I'll show you that here in a second. And we'll show you the finished result of the wiring. So this is not going to be an engine run video. I won't have it anywhere ready to start, but I just want to get the wiring straight before I start working on figuring out what's up with this engine. It seems to go in forward just fine, neutral fine. I can't quite get it into reverse. So gotta figure that out. I think that I showed that on the remote control video when I was trying to put it, no, it was forward. I couldn't get it in forward gear. So it goes into reverse fine, neutral, can't quite get it in forward. So I'll figure that out. But check out some of the stuff that I'm finding along the way of the wiring harness on this engine. Some of it's kind of funny, but it's typical of an engine this age. So hope you enjoy the video, and I'll show you the final results at the end when everything looks nice and pretty again. So I wanted to use this clip just to show what some crazy things that people do. It's staring at you right here. So this is a lead that goes from the cutoff switch up through here under that bracket and then up into the actual I think that's the actual cutoff switch, if I'm not mistaken, and this is part of the cutoff switch group, maybe a solenoid or something in there, I don't know exactly, but anyway, that's not the focus of why I'm showing you this. This is a completely desheathed wire that is completely corroded, and it was wrapped with electrical tape. Why not put on a new wire? Because we can just wrap electrical tape around the whole thing, which is crazy. All right, well, I'll show you all this when I'm done. I'm replacing every single wire. Got the wiring harness pulled off of the engine. The wires are in terrible condition, as you just saw from that little clip I did a couple of days ago. This these wires, this isn't the, believe it or not, this is not the worst I've ever seen, but this is pretty bad. All of these wires, where the insulation has failed and the strands of wires have just disintegrated, someone just wrapped an electrical tape to try to preserve it a little bit farther. So I'm going to replace all those wires. I think once I get up into here, the insulation probably will be good. I'll remove, got to get this little clamp here taken off, get it all unwrapped, and we'll take a look at the condition of the wires, because what I don't have the ability to do is get into this connector. I mean, they go inside there. I don't know how this connector comes apart, if there's some special tool where these pins come out and the wires come out the back or what. I don't want to do that. So I'm hoping that I have good wire with good insulation, soft insulation up here to where I can just splice new wires on and redo this whole thing. So everything is labeled, so I know exactly where everything goes back in place. And actually this one, oh, I know where that goes. There's a couple of them that don't have labels, but this is the engine hot light, and there's another connector that goes on that, but yeah, what a mess. All right, while I wait for my heat shrink to arrive to finish out the wiring harness, I am going to remove the electric choke solenoid here. And I've done this before on another 40 horsepower twin. It's just 2 screws, and then you kind of got to be careful when you bring it down because there's a plunger in there with a spring that you don't want to lose. And obviously don't want to lose the screws either. This side we'll just use the right angle. There's the, and yeah, there we go. I was going to say it should come out without removing the starter solenoid. All right, so there's our plunger, and you can see there's a spring inside there. And if you pull it out quick, this could pop up fairly quickly and go flying out. So that's the electric choke solenoid. Let me just show this a little bit in a little bit better detail now that I got the camera moved and the camera angle moved a little bit. The reason I took this off is because the insulation at the base of the plunger here is the insulation is broken, and it's just dangling by the wires inside. So the plunger, as I mentioned, is on a spring. There's the spring, very fine spring, so you don't want to lose that. It is an oiled cylinder. Also don't want to lose this little washer here. So I believe there's another spring up inside the lean adjustment, which connects to the nipple on the top there. You can kind of hear it when I pulled it down. It kind of broke free, but this is tapered, so when you push this back up, the spring catches again. So let's see if I can get the right angle here to show up inside the correct angle, because I can see it. The camera's not picking it up. Well, you can kind of see it. There, that's what the top of that plunger goes inside. I don't know why I thought it was important to show that detail, but there you go. The new wiring harness is done for the most part. I am still waiting on one connector to go on this wire here, which I've got the old connector taped to it so I know where it goes. It's the same as that connector there. And the hot light wire will connect to the engine. But there is the completed new wiring harness, and I will go and install this on the engine and then show you what that looks like installed. All right, well, I have to apologize. I thought that the camera was running the entire time I was putting the electric choke solenoid back on. I must have hit the button twice and it didn't record anything. I was going to show what the inside of the lean spring looks like, reconnecting the solenoid to the spring on the inside. Unfortunately, I didn't catch any of it, and to take it all back apart and redo it, it's a lot of work. So if you were hoping to see that, I do apologize. But I did get the wire soldered back together, and then I used 2 layers of heat shrink to give it some good strain relief, because anytime you solder bare wires, it's going to make it brittle. So hopefully this will continue to last while the engine vibrates, and I won't lose the electric choke. Good thing is, if you do lose the electric choke, you got manual choke right here. Okay, so I just completed the wiring on the engine. You can see here I've got all new white wires. Everything back to front has been replaced. I also replaced the starter positive wire, and the only thing I didn't replace, I cut these wires off at this connector here, and then that's where all the new white wires connect to. So kept the same color wires going into the plug here, and then once they run through the splice connector there that's heat shrunk, I guess that's a word, heat shrunk and sealed. Then they go out of the heat shrink, and then everything runs back, and then everything back here is obviously replaced. I just finished putting this Molex connector on. So that's the main thing that I was waiting for. But now the rewire of this engine is complete. And we'll see if it runs here in a few weeks after I get it put back on the boat, which is getting a new transom. So thanks for watching this episode of the Wisco Boater channel. I know it wasn't terribly exciting, but just wanted to include this along the way because it is something that I'm working on to make sure that everything is back up to snuff when we get ready to get this boat back out on the water. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, send me some comments, and if you want to be notified when I post new videos like this one, hit that notification bell. We'll see you next time. Happy boating, everybody.